Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a little prince named Gideon. Gideon was a dreamer. He dreamed of dragons and giants and princesses and castles. As the years passed and the young prince grew older, he forgot about his dreams. One day, while he was out, walking in the forest, the prince ran into a giant eagle, the biggest that he had ever seen. It told him of a land far away where dragons and giants lived. At that moment, the young prince recalled the dreams that he had as a boy, and he wanted more than anything to see this place that the eagle spoke of. But the prince knew that going to this land would mean that he would have to leave his friends and the king and queen and the land of his birth. Just as the prince was about to leave the eagle and return home, along came a small frog. This frog looked like any other frog, but to the prince's surprise, this frog could also talk. "Prince Gideon, you must go to the place of your dreams, for it is in this place that you will meet your destiny." The prince heard the words from the frog, and although he did not understand what it all meant, he knew that what the frog was saying was true. He had to go to the land of his dreams, to the place where dragons and giants lived, to the place where he would find his destiny. And so the prince hopped on the eagle's back, and they flew through the sky to the faraway land. The faraway land was a very strange place. There were huge, bright boxes, metal monsters, and giant trees that touched the sky. Before leaving, the giant eagle told the young prince that his journey had only just begun, and that the prince would have to find his destiny on his own. And so the prince began to explore the new land. One day, while exploring, the young prince ran into a dragon. On the neck of the dragon hung a sign with 3 letters, S, F, C. This was the first dragon the prince had ever seen. The dragon roared fiercely and attacked the prince. The prince drew his sword and defended himself. On and on they fought. Hours turned into days. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months, and months into years. Finally, after 3 years of battle, the prince defeated the dragon. The prince continued to explore the land. The prince witnessed many wonderful sights and met all different types of fantastic creatures and interesting people as he wandered the land. But something was missing. The prince always felt alone. After roaming the land for 2 years, the prince came to a new land, a land of ice and water. Cold and tired, the prince sought shelter in a cave. Upon entering the cave, the prince met another dragon. This dragon was twice as large as the first dragon. Like the first dragon, this creature also had a sign around its neck with 3 letters. The letters on the sign read M-S-U. With a battle cry, the prince charged at the dragon, and a fierce battle ensued. After 2 years of battling with the great dragon, the prince once again prevailed. As the dragon flew away, the prince noticed an opening at the other end of the cave. The opening led to a path on the other side of the cave. As the prince emerged from the cave, he squinted into the sun and saw it for the first time. It was the land of his dreams. The prince hopped and skipped through the streets. He had finally made it, and now he could finally find his destiny. One day, as the prince made his way through the land of his dreams, the prince came across the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. She glowed like a warm sunset, and everything around her faded to the background. All the prince could see was her. The prince had never felt a sensation like this. He tried speaking, but nothing came out. The girl smiled shyly and waved. She spoke, and the prince swore that she had the voice of an angel. The prince's heart skipped a beat, and he knew that he wanted more than anything to get to know her. Her name was Carmen. At that moment, the prince and Carmen were inseparable. They did everything and went everywhere together. They explored the land together, and while they explored, they talked about everything. They shared their hopes and dreams with each other and planned their lives together. They had separate bodies, but their hearts were one. A year passed, and the two were the happiest they had ever been. Then one night, Carmen told the prince that she had decided that it was time for her to face the great dragon that lived in a cave in the land of ice and water. The prince was very saddened by this because he knew that this was something that Carmen would have to do alone. The prince had never been happier than when he was with Carmen. He loved her, but he had already been to the cave and conquered the dragon. He knew that he could not return. The prince decided to continue to search for his destiny in the land of his dreams without Carmen. It was the most difficult decision he had ever made. And so the two lovers set off in different directions. Carmen to the land of ice and water to fight the dragon, and the prince to find his destiny in the land of his dreams. The prince was all alone again. He searched the land of his dreams day and night to no avail. As the prince explored, he would remember Carmen and how she made him feel, but he knew that she was off fighting the dragon and finding her own destiny. He had given up everyone that he knew and everything that he loved. Why couldn't he find his destiny? One day, while exploring, the young prince noticed a glowing figure on the horizon. He could not tell what it was, but he knew that it was important. The prince began to run. As he got closer to the glow, his heart began to race. Was this finally it? Was this his destiny? The prince almost fell as he saw the figure take shape. It was her. She was as beautiful as the first time that he laid eyes on her, and the prince felt again what he felt all those years ago when he first met the young girl. In that moment he realized what he had missed all this time. It had been her all along. She was his destiny. It was not some object or some place. It was Carmen. And so the prince, knowing now what his true destiny was, got down on one knee and asked Carmen